the next thing I know, you're on an airplane. You're like, Elton, I'm doing this.
One thing about myself, it's like I'm all in or nothing, eh?
Every rep that I take, although it's painful, gets me closer to my goal. Most humans always want to weigh out. And how do you deal with that conflict?
Knowing what you want and the outcome is the most important thing, and why you're doing something.
I think some people don't take the time to set a standard.
I will always make sure I train because it's the one thing I can control.
We just got to spend some time with Jordi from Shred Movement, and he's just gotten back from Dubai. I met Jordi about 6 months ago. He's one of the most talented individuals, being able to move his body, as well as an incredible personal coach. He left for Dubai. He came back from Dubai. He shares some of his insights, his trials, tribulations. We unpack a couple of things that are key to the course that he's learned and used. I hope you find this valuable in your life journey. I think you and I had a catch up last week for an hour and a half. And from then, what stuck with you from, let's go 7 days ago? What is a big thing that stuck out from you from a little catch up?
My expectation was to go to Dubai and become a multi-millionaire and have 1 million followers on Instagram. So yes, school fees, you learn lessons, but at the end of the day, it is a loss and you have to reflect.
And what do you think, when you've obviously recently got back from Dubai, you gave it a good go? You spent some time in those environments, you networked well. What have you gained by going? And I don't think you've lost or sacrificed. I think it's only been a gain.
Massive gain, massive gain. I think it's obviously just the mind plays tricks on you. That's what I liked about the course. Many things, understanding yourself a bit better. I think also a lot of confidence. So even though you come back with feeling like you might have failed, but you know, when you are, in terms of what I do, the training, the fitness, the life coaching, when a lot of people are speaking to you and you're at the beach clubs, at the gyms, and you don't, I wouldn't say you don't have a lot of money, not wearing a Rolex, not wearing Louis Vuitton pants, but I know people noticed me and wanted to speak to me. My Instagram grew by 650 people, and that was from like face-to-face engagement. So
all one-to-one.
All one-to-one. Before I went to Dubai, my whole mentality, everything was like this preparation, you know, to get there and be noticed wherever I wanted to land up in the world. So one thing I did notice about myself is I did get noticed, and you also don't have to justify who you are and what you do and what you're about.
I remember you probably came to the course in a very short period before you left for Dubai, and you weren't even going to Dubai then.
Yeah.
And then you came past the house, we had a catch up.
Yeah.
I said, come past, have a look at this. And the next thing I know, you're on an airplane. You're like, Elton, I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's true. What I distinctly remember is you saying to me when I was like, should I go? It was a very critical moment for me, because you're like, if I was you, I'd go tomorrow. And that's something about that conversation. I was like, sweet, I'm done. Started selling everything. And that's the nice thing about myself, and one thing I can advise to anybody watching: when you really have an all or nothing approach, whatever happens must happen. You can't really control the outcome.
You know, it reminds me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, there were two stories. People used to ask him, he used to walk into the gym and he used to lift weights and he'd do it with a smile. And the one question that I asked him is, Arnold, how is it that you come into this gym, you lift weights that are painfully heavy, but you smile while you do it? He says, why wouldn't I smile? Every rep that I take, although it's painful, gets me closer to my goal. So I smile knowing that even though it's tough, it's taking me where I want to. And another thing he put up, and he puts up stuff very rarely, but I enjoyed watching him go from bodybuilder to movie actor to what he was able to do. He said, sometimes you can't have a plan B, because a plan B creates a safety net. And most humans always want a way out, and if you have it, it's easy to take, going, I'm not going to put all the effort in because I've got another way out. And I really took that from him. So most often I'll give plan B a moment thought and realize if I give it any more energy than that, it's all it deserves. I'll take away energy from plan A and give plan A everything until I exhaust it.
Spot on. And I think that's the point. And I think when you are all in, it's also about following your intuition, because it's one of those things you have to weigh up your pros and cons. And that's what also the course taught me, goal setting, certain things. You know, sometimes you're faced with a red pill, blue pill scenario. Sometimes you're actually only really faced with one option. The nice thing about it is I don't really plan as much. Like a lot of people since I've been back say to me, So what's next? And I'm kind of like, we'll see,
Yeah.
you know, because
As much as you say that, you have
I do have a
broad plan.
Yes. I watched one of your videos and it said, if you don't have a plan, you'll fit into somebody else's plans. If you have your own plan and your own vision, and I'm going this way, and someone also has an idea how they can use you, and then you still like, I'm going this way, I'm not coming here, it can also create a lot of conflict.
And how do you deal with that conflict?
I think you have to communicate effectively, but also you have to accept that people are different,
Sometimes just walk away.
literally.
Yeah, I always tell people when they kind of have a way, start, because action produces data. And the more you do, the more information you get back. And the more information you get back, the more you can curate that information and understand it, distill it, and use it and create more action. And instead of standing still, you get no information to move forward. But you coach people as well. Aside from personal training,
Yeah, life
you
coaching.
do a little bit of life coaching for people as well.
Yeah. Who actually inspired me a lot with that is Tony Robbins. I read Awaken the Giants Within, and this one's Unlimited Power, a green one. And in there, I read today, it speaks about to have a powerful life, you need, obviously, step one, you need to know the outcome. You need to know what you want. And step two is take action. And then step three is, if something's not working, you need to be flexible and adapt and change. And I think knowing what you want and the outcome is the most important thing, and why you're doing something. Because I think sometimes, like a lot of people, including myself, we just do things for the sake of doing things. And I think coming back from Dubai, I'm in a place where I'm really reflecting which road I would like to take. It's okay to change. And I've learned this before. That's why my business is called Shred Movement. It's okay to change. Like at one point I was a calisthenics athlete, then I was dancing, then I was selling insurance. So we have to adapt.
So if I look at Shred Movement, I've been following you for a while. I won't call it outrageous, but you do things athletically with your body other people can't do. But you have the normal traditional training, you have the calisthenics, you have the ability to do endurance, fat loss, muscle building. You don't get that without changing, without learning. So each skill set that you can provide to your customer base has come from a skill set that you had to learn somewhere.
So true.
But people forget that. They think, oh, this is just what I give out. They don't realize all those skill sets that you offer your customers, even the coaching. You'll climb onto Instagram and you'll give people some really good mindset tips. You don't realize that's come from all the previous experiences.
Yeah, I know.
And for me, variety, understanding, exposure, it's so powerful, because I consider them like weapons in your arsenal. So if you go up, let's say, for instance, a person has to pick one particular personal trainer, and that personal trainer's resume is weights in the gym and a little bit of cardio. Your arsenal to help somebody in their life beyond whatever style that could fit them, they might not be as mobile. You can adapt it to that. You can adapt to their diet. You can adapt to their lifestyle, their time zones that they may be able to do it. You can do it online, offline. That all comes from a decade of experience across those things. You just build it up. You'll find something that you'll eventually perfect, that you potentially make a lot of money from.
Yeah.
Right? Once you do that, you use that five-step blueprint to success.
Yeah.
And then you just put yourself where those people are and you constantly scale. But until then, it's okay testing. You're only 30.
Yeah, 29, turning 30. I used to sit and say when I was 28, I'm 29. No, I'm not. I'm 29, I'm turning 30.
I'm the opposite. I already tell myself I'm the year ahead. And I think it's actually very important you mention the word standard. I think some people don't take the time to set a standard, even if it could be a low standard to start, and they never elevate the standard where it's important. So if I look at the way you're talking to me, and what you're telling me is, although you have a standard, you elevate those standards constantly.
Yeah.
You look how you get the most out of the situation, the most out of, even if it's deemed a negative by most other people, you're like, what did I take from this?
Yes.
You set really high standards. And I think a lot of people that don't set standards don't understand the importance of setting those standards.
Sometimes you just have to accept help, which means that I don't want to be in a situation right now where I don't want to be motivating people, because I also need to be like in a dynamic like this, taking golden nuggets from other people.
Filling your own cup sometimes.
Yes, because sometimes that's what I learned about this Dubai thing. I think I reached a whole point of exhaustion over the last 4 or 5 years, continuously trying to help people raise their standards, that I actually forgot about myself. And that's also when I was in Dubai, I reached a level of burnout. I was like completely burnt out. Body was sore, heel, knee, everything. So the standard is important.
I see you at the gym every day since I've been training at the gym, not at the house.
Yeah.
And then from what you do as a career point of view, because I think it will be a career, you'll always be in the fitness industry in some way or form.
Yeah.
What are just for everybody watching, you've obviously trained hundreds, if not thousands of people. What's the one thing that you think makes people do it consistently, train consistently?
Everyone has a different why. Everyone trains for different reasons. I think that you just got to build that habit. You just got to find that one thing that you do, even when you're feeling like, I don't feel like doing this. Even if you're feeling at 30%, there's certain, whatever you do, whether you run, whether you do whatever, like, it has to be a must.
Why is activity so important for a human?
Geez, I just think that dopamine that you get, that feel good effect afterwards, I think just that's the difference. I think people get addicted to that.
So you're saying that the enjoyment for people is how it makes you feel post, and that obviously lasts for a few hours post training.
Yeah.
It's not just physical health in terms of somebody being able to move their own body around when they get old, but just that positive mindset that training gives you is what you found is extremely important when you train people.
Depending on the style of training that you do, you're also moving energy through your 7 chakras. So, for example, coming back from Dubai, I will experience grief because I'm sad and I'm grieving something that I had. So I'm at a loss, right? So if I'm doing handstands and moving my blood flow, I'm going to feel good. So that's one of the reasons why I moved, to put myself in a positive mind frame to deal with the day, because I don't know what's going to happen. And I think also the social aspect of training, the positive social environment. I think it's also that discipline of training. Because the biggest thing for me is, like, people think I want to train every day. Like, I don't. The thing is also with training is keeping young and keeping fit. Like, I'm approaching 30 and I actually did a biological test and it said I'm 22. Like, I never knew turning 30 was a thing. Like, when I was 21, like, my little brother's 21.
How far away does 30 feel when you're 21?
Geez, it feels far.
You're 30, how far does 46 look for you, where I am?
It feels far, but it also feels like, I think when you're 21, you think that this is the road, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get to 30, and then from 30, I'm going to get to 40. Everyone has this plan, and I think you just have to embrace it.
And how does it feel to be turning 30 soon?
I think as a man, it's nice. Obviously, you'd like to be in a certain place in your life as a man. I can only speak for myself as a man. When I speak now, more people listen to me. Like, maybe, like, let's just say, how old are you now?
46.
46. So if you were speaking to the 21-year-old version of me, I was selling in life insurance. At that time, I was drinking. Now I don't drink. I've changed a lot of things about myself. But when you're like 21, you're also like trying to establish yourself more as a man. But like, people don't, like, I don't really take a 21-year-old seriously. You don't really have certain experience. I think when you get to 30, I wouldn't change it. You've gone through certain things, you've done certain things, made money, lost money, made decisions, where it's kind of like you really are becoming a man. I think
wait till you start getting to 40, 50, and then I watched my dad train this morning. Wait till you start getting to 76, 80, and then you realize how much more the perk of age is. And it's also a luxury. You know, not everybody gets to be old, and how much wisdom you grow through all those years. But there's always an element of you could have done better, or you benchmark yourself against other humans. You see them doing well, and you got to have that element of, my time will come, I'm working towards it.
I agree. I definitely agree. And I think you never know what those people are dealing with. Like, I've been a bachelor single for quite a while. And everyone's like, yes, you don't have a girlfriend, what's going on with you, whatever. And when I was selling insurance and I was younger, 23, 24, then guys at 45 years old, they're getting divorced. It's like their life's turned upside down. So I think everyone's on their own journey. Someone told me in Dubai, the guy that I worked with, he runs a brilliant company called Boxica. He said to me, don't try and do 3 months work in one day. And I think coming back, it's more like I'm more present, more like that, like, it's easy to speak about divine timing and things like that, but when you really believe it, you kind of have the sense of letting go.
And a sense of knowing that it's going to come.
yeah, like it's going to come. Like things can happen. Things really can happen overnight.
You've obviously built your own website now.
Yes.
You know,
You gave me a lot of advice last week, Friday, on that.
and I hope it helps.
It does, of course.
It simplifies a lot of things and makes people easier to purchase. But even just in your journey, learning steps that each one, just because you were a calisthenics coach or the next, there's still things missing that you can improve on.
Most definitely.
Building a website, perfecting the website. Each iteration just gets you one step better. You mentioned something, I think, before we close off. We've all had plans not go according to plan.
Yes.
And you have to pivot. You know what the first thing I do is?
Plan.
What's the new plan? Right? Because even though I'm pivoting, I can pivot to 3 different places. I need to know what my outcome is at the end of that still. Trust me, I'm learning to keep my mind where my feet are, to be present.
Yes.
But in general, even if I'm pivoting hard, I need to know why I'm pivoting, not just for the sake of pivoting.
Yeah,
Did I pivot because it was uncomfortable? Did I pivot because I picked up an injury? Because the market that we were addressing wasn't there, that something's not going right. Why am I pivoting? And then if I'm pivoting, what am I going towards? Because when I wake up in the morning, I find it so much easier to wake up in the morning knowing where I'm going than waking up directionless.
Yeah, that's true. So true. And I think that's the thing, even where I'm at now, I'm planning, and I think I do it subconsciously. Wake up, journal, write down what I've trained, to-do lists, things like that. How am I going to obviously build that clientele up again for now, permanently, who knows? But you are following a plan, and you're right. It's so important.
Is there anything you want to leave people with before we close off today? Life
is going to knock you down. You're not going to know what to do. But the one thing you can control is movements. And that's what I've always done. And I've been very blessed to turn it into a brand and teach people. And I'll continue to apply what I teach to myself in order to teach other people. So thanks for giving me the time. I love it.
Thanks, Jordi Sanders. I'm pretty sure that Kieran, our Ops Powerhouse, will make sure that all Jordi's details are down at the bottom of this YouTube podcast. I think it's our 3rd ever podcast. Looking forward to a whole lot more, learning from a whole bunch more people, and sharing knowledge and wisdom and living together in this world. Ciao.